You want to be a Grizz basketball player. Around here, if you work hard enough, your dreams could come true.
The Montana Grizzly 2001-2002 basketball season proved to be a memorable one. During the regular season, the team experienced some growing pains. But when it came time for the Big Sky Conference tournament, Coach Don Holst and the Grizzlies put it all together for a dramatic run to the NCAA tournament. The season began back in November when Montana hosted Evergreen State. Over 5,000 fans were on hand at Dahlberg Arena for the team's opener, and Montana was challenged by the Division II school. The Grizzlies hung on tough for an 80-77 victory over the Gooey Ducks, thanks to some senior leadership. Shane Christensen scored 14 points, had 6 assists, and Dan Trammell, 17 points and 8 rebounds, helped get the season off to a winning start.
We can never change. Just tell me that you understand and feel the same. This perfect romance that I've created in my mind. I'd live 1,000 lives, each one with you right by my side. But yet we find ourselves in a less than perfect circumstance. And so it seems like we'll never have the chance.
Ain't it funny how some feelings you just can't deny? And you can't move on even though you try. Ain't it strange when you're feeling things you shouldn't feel?
Oh, I wish this could be real.
Ain't it funny how a moment could just change your life? And you don't want to face what's wrong or right. Ain't it strange how fate can play a part
In the story of your heart.
Next up for the Grizzlies, a basketball powerhouse. Montana traveled to Spokane to take on the talented Gonzaga Bulldogs. Trammell was the star again as he led all scorers with 24 points and kept the Grizz close against one of the country's best teams. But the Zags' interior size was eventually too much for Montana, who fell 83-63.
But somehow I know what you're about. A deeper love I found in you, and I no longer doubt. You've touched my heart, and it altered every plan I made. And now I feel that I don't have to be
Ain't it funny how
afraid.
some feelings you just can't deny? And you can't move on even though you try. Ain't it strange when you're feeling things you shouldn't feel?
Oh, I wish this could be
Ain't
real.
it funny how a moment could just change your life? And you don't want to face what's wrong or right. Ain't it strange how fate can play a part
In the story of your heart.
After a road loss to Northern Iowa, the Grizzlies got back to the 500 mark with a home game against Concordia. Newcomer David Bell introduced himself to Grizz fans with a team-high 18 points, including 5 of 6 from three-point range. Dan Trammell continued his strong start, scoring 11 and grabbing 9 boards as the Grizzlies routed the Eagles 72-48.
Typical, every day, one night thing. It's the physical. I'm a love through the night thing. Love, calling your name, go jump on in the range and roll over. I just really wanted to hold you. In time, get to know you. That's a good chick. Before it's all over, I'ma meet this chick. Probably treat this chick more better. Cause if you ain't no thugs and ladies go together. Popping my collar partner, who in the spot? Baby, rule in the spot, in the mug, in the watch. Half of y'all hate, half y'all love me. The ones that hate me only hate me cause they don't trust me. And they say I'm lucky. You think I got time to blow all this dough and do all these shows? On flight in the llama charging white robes. Uh-oh, another episode.
Montana's next game was at home against the Washington State Cougars of the Pac-10. Junior Brent Cummings had a big game against the team from his hometown of Pullman. Cummings was perfect from the line and shot 5 of 6 from the field in a 17-point, 6-rebound performance. Sophomore Ryan Peterson made a huge three-pointer and 2 clutch free throws in the final minutes to seal the win 75-71.
When I'm home like a song when I'm gone. We both grown, both got minds of our own. Plus we hit it off at first sight like love Jones. Many zones, baby, lover, yo, hate it all. From prissy women to women that's overshadowed. But you know the ruby, living it up, ain't got all of y'all giving it up. I like little ooh, baby, how cute are you? With a body that rides on sexual. I got a stick, I ride right next to you. Doing donuts and cuts, then I open it up on the freeway. Hand on the wheel, foot on the not giving it up. To everybody that be living it up, we say what I do. And all my ladies that be giving it up. What you do. To everybody that be living it up, we say what do I do.
A week later, the Grizzlies faced a tough opponent from the Western Athletic Conference, the Nevada Wolfpack. Montana took an 8-point lead into halftime and never looked back. David Belt led all scorers with 17 points, including 5 3-pointers, and fellow transfers Victor Venners and Marcus Rosser were solid in the post, each scoring 10. Dan Trammell had 11 rebounds, Ryan Slider added 10 points and 8 boards, and the Grizzlies won 75-68. The Grizzlies' non-conference schedule didn't get any easier. On December 10th, the Grizz were in Colorado to face the Buffaloes of the powerful Big 12 Conference. Dan Trammell shot 5 of 7 from the field for 10 points, and Brent Cummings had 12. But the Grizz couldn't get past a red-hot Colorado team that made a school record 16 3-pointers in their 84-71 victory over Montana. Next, the Grizzlies rode the Hawaiian trade winds into tropical Oahu for the 4th annual Yahoo Invitational. The Grizz began the tournament with a 78-61 victory over Navy as Brent Cummings scored 20 points and Shane Christensen had 7 assists. In the second round, the Grizz faced a Tulsa team that would go on to win 26 games. Montana played them tough, as sophomore guard Sam Riddle led the way with 14 points, 5 assists, and no turnovers. But the Golden Hurricanes escaped with a 92-82 victory over the Grizz, who returned to the mainland with a record of 5-7. Five days into the new year, Montana began Big Sky Conference play on the road against preseason favorite Weber State. David Belt and Brent Cummings were on fire as they combined to shoot 8 for 12 from three-point range and scored 32 points. Dan Trammell was a force in the paint with 13 points and 9 rebounds, and the Grizz opened up league play with an impressive 80-73 win over the Wildcats.
Not more than 3 short years ago, I was abandoned and alone, without a penny to my name. So very young and so afraid, my shoes upon my feet. Sometimes I couldn't even eat. I often cried myself to sleep. Still I had to keep on going, never knowing if I could take it, if I would make it through the night. I held on to my
The Grizz had another conference road game 1 week later against Portland State. Senior leader Shane Christensen had a tremendous night. dominating the game with 22 points while dishing out some 9 assists. Transfer David Bell continued to be one of the nation's deadliest long-range shooters, making 8 of 11 from behind the arc and torching the Vikings for 26 points as the Grizzlies won 99-88 and finished 2-1 on their 3-game road swing. On January 18th, Montana played their first Big Sky Conference home game, and Weber State came to town with revenge on their mind. Ryan Slider had 14 to lead the Grizzlies, and Marcus Rosser had a nice game with 12, but the Grizz went cold from deep, making only 2 3-pointers all game. The all-conference guard Jermaine Boyette had 20 points in leading the Wildcats to a 90-71 victory.
Everybody get on up, 'cause you know we got to get it wrong. Mary J is in the spot tonight, and I'ma make you feel alright. Come on, baby.
The following night, Montana faced Idaho State at Dahlberg Arena. Brent Cummings scored 17 points to lead the Grizzlies and was effective outside, shooting 3 of 6 from downtown, and inside, grabbing a game-high 8 rebounds. 3-point specialist David Bell made 5 shots from behind the arc as the Grizz pulled away in the second half, beating the Bengals 74-65 and earning a split for the weekend.
Before you get loose and start to lose your mind, cop you a drink, go ahead and rock your eyes, 'cause we're celebrating no more drama in our lives. With a great track pumping, everybody's jumping. Go ahead and twist your back and get your body bumping. I told you leave your situations at the door, so grab somebody and get your ass on the dance floor. Let's get in this dancery. Got y'all open, now you're floating, so you got to dance with me.
1 week later, the Grizz were in Sacramento for their 7th game of league play and their 5th Big Sky contest on the road. Senior Dan Trammell took over with 21 points and 12 boards for his second double-double of the year. Brent Cummings had a big night as well, shooting 8 for 12 from the field and scoring 20 points. And David Bell was once again hot from 3-point range, making 5 of 11 from deep as the Grizzlies beat the Hornets 88-78 and improved to 4-3 in conference play. Montana's first game in February was at home against Portland State. Senior center Travis Greenwald exploded for a career high in points with 23 and rebounds with 8. Shane Christensen and Sam Riddle combined for 15 assists, while Dan Trammell dominated the glass with a game-high 12 boards. David Bell tossed in 4 3-pointers, and Montana outscored Portland State by 16 in the second half, sweeping the Vikings with an 80-66 win.
Off the top of the stairs and I'm feeling buns. Plus some dolo at the table. With this chick with the fat fatty and the ring up in the navel. Dances around, she struts with the ball. Touches the toes so she can make her butt talk. Do what you gotta do. I ain't mad at you. Know a lot of famous women seen none as bad as you. You's a real bad girl, a nigga need that. Sipping on your Henny, asking where the weed at. Let me put you on to something. You f***ing with a big nigga, no frontin'. Yeah, shorty, turn it around, let me see something. With me, the real is gonna be something. Yeah, I'm talking lights, camera, action.
The next night, the Grizzlies faced Eastern Washington in a game that would come down to the wire. Brent Cummings had 21 points to lead Montana, and Ryan Slider had a strong game with 11 points and 9 rebounds as the Grizzlies rallied from a 7-point deficit to tie the game at 78. But the Eagles scored the final basket and escaped Dahlberg Arena with an 80-78 win. However, the Eagles hadn't seen the last of the Montana Grizzlies.
More than my tongue and my hands are do. The way you move to the music and make a nigga wanna take you up out of here, go somewhere and lose it. And your physique is off the chain. It's gonna be hard getting you off the brain. I mean, we could take a drive in the X5. The way you boogie on the floor, I know that's sex high. Use a timepiece. I'm trying to see something. Suck your cheese and then you front and let me squeeze something. Shorty, turn it around, let me see something. With me, for real, it's gonna be something. I'm talking lights, camera, action. I'm singing, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Turn it around, let me see something. With me, for real, it's gonna be something. Hey, I'm talking lights, camera, action.
Get it in here. I got one thing to say. This is when the big dogs come out. Okay? You can't roll with the big dogs. Stay on the board.
Montana finished the regular season with a 3-game homestand, and it started against Sacramento State. The Grizz jumped on the Hornets early, building a 17-point halftime lead that would only grow from there. Ryan Slider led the way for Montana, scoring a career-high 18 points and pulling in 6 rebounds. Fellow senior Travis Greenwald had a great game as well, shooting an impressive 7 of 8 from the field and a 15.7 rebound performance as the Grizzlies demolished the Hornets 86-53, sweeping the season series.
Comes with getting burned. But you got to be tough when consumed by desire. 'Cause it's not enough just to stand outside the fire. We call them strong, those who can face this world alone, who seem to get by on their own, those who will never.
The following evening, the Grizzlies faced Northern Arizona, and Montana got off to a quick start, taking a 38-24 lead into the locker room at halftime. Brent Cummings had a double-double with 15 points and 10 rebounds. Sam Riddle had 6 assists, and the Grizz defense held the Lumberjacks to just 38% from the field as Montana won their second consecutive league game and completed the weekend sweep with a 70-63 victory over NAU.
It's not living if you stand outside the fire. Standing outside the fire. Standing outside the fire. Life is not tried, it is merely survived if you're standing outside the fire. There's this love that is burning deep in my soul, constantly yearning to get out of control, wanting to fly higher and higher. I can't abide standing outside the fire.
Do we want to get rocked?
On March 2nd, Montana played their last game of the regular season, and for the Grizzlies' 5 seniors, their last game ever at Dahlberg Arena, as they faced Montana State on senior night. The game did not go as scripted for the Grizz. Montana battled back from a 12-point deficit to cut the Bobcats' lead to 3, but Montana State pulled away in the final 10 minutes to clinch home court for the Big Sky Conference Tournament, where the Grizzlies would get one more shot at their biggest rival.
Got a million ways to make my day, but Daddy don't agree. 'Cause when I try to get away, he says he got plans for me. It's your first holiday. Stop bugging me. Don't shake my tree. It says, hold on. Who, me? Not my style, man. Take out the trash. No way. Come on, get real.
In the first round of the Big Sky Conference Tournament, the 5th-seeded Grizzlies took on the number 4-seeded Northern Arizona Lumberjacks, and Montana brought their A game. The Grizzlies shot 60% from the field while limiting the Lumberjacks to just 39%. Dan Trammell had 17 points to lead the Grizz, while Ryan Slider and Shane Christensen each had 14. Montana racked up 50 second-half points en route to a convincing 82-64 first-round win over NAU.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
In the tournament semifinals, Montana faced a difficult challenge, playing the top-seeded Montana State Bobcats on their home court in a packed Worthington Arena. The Cats led by 8 points at halftime and built a 16-point second-half lead, but the Grizzlies kept fighting. Brent Cummings had 16 points for the Grizz. Travis Greenwald scored 2 of his 17 on a baseline jumper that tied the game at 68. And then Dan Trammell came up with the most spectacular play in Montana basketball history, slamming the ball home with 1.2 seconds remaining for a dramatic game-winning dunk. The Grizzlies defeated their in-state rival 70-68 and advanced to the championship game of the Big Sky Conference tournament.
Y'all ready for this?
The Grizzlies were now just a game away from going to the NCAA tournament, but to get there, they would have to beat an Eastern Washington team that swept the regular season series. The championship game was close from start to finish. The Eagles led by 4 at the half, but the Grizzlies would erase the deficit behind the strong play of guard Shane Christensen and David Bell, who combined for 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. In the final minutes, tournament MVP Dan Trammell made clutch plays at both ends of the floor, and the Montana Grizzlies defeated the Eastern Washington Eagles 70-66 to capture the Big Sky Conference tournament title and an automatic berth into the Big Dance.
Man, the defense they played the second half was key, and we made some shots.
Man, what a just unbelievable feeling. Tell me your emotions right now.
When you're the 5th seed coming in, what do you think the feelings are? I mean, I'm thrilled for these kids. I love these guys. They've been great, and now we get to go to the NCAA.
Shane, tell me, man, how does this feel?
Hey, this whole season's been an up and down season for us. We packed for 3 days. We packed for 3 days. We ain't packed for 1 day, 2 days, or we packed for 3 days. And we came out here, we had heart, and look what happened, man. It's nothing but above. Nothing but above.
The Grizzlies' 3 victories in less than 3 days assured them of playing at least one more game. And on Selection Sunday, Montana earned the 15th seed in the Midwest region and a game against the Pac-10 champion Oregon Ducks in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
You know, Oregon came up. It's a West team. It's a Pac-10 team. We play Pac-10 teams in the non-conference from time to time. Played Washington State this year. And I think, you know, Ryan Slider knows a couple of their kids. You know, a couple of our Washington kids are aware of Ridnour. He's a heck of a player. I think that familiarity helps. It's a West Coast team style of play. You watch them on TV. So, you know, that's neat. We came to Sacramento. We come down here to play in league. So there's some comfort in that. Arco Arena, we haven't been there. There's probably a little nervousness. I don't know how many people they pack in here, probably 2,000 or 3,000.
The following Thursday in Sacramento's Arco Arena, the Montana Grizzlies became part of March Madness 2002 as they tipped off against the Oregon Ducks. It was clear from the start that Montana was not intimidated by their nationally ranked opponent. The Grizz traded blows with the Ducks for the first 20 minutes and trailed by just 8 at halftime. And in the second half, the Grizzlies trimmed the deficit to just 7. But the talented Oregon team slowly pulled away in the final 10 minutes, going on to an 81-62 victory and ultimately advancing to the Elite Eight. But the Grizzlies' strong performance earned them national respect for the Big Sky Conference Tournament and the University of Montana basketball program.
Come on, baby. I'm gonna take you to the twilight zone.
Have a good time, take a break.
I want to start by saying Montana, as a 15 seed, certainly played hard and they played well. There was no fear out there, and they did an excellent job at coming after us.
I knew that we were ready coming into the game, and it was we were ready. It was an anxious, nervous feeling, but I knew we were ready, and all you can ask for is to give your best, and that's exactly what we did.
For the 2001-2002 Montana Grizzly men's basketball team, it was 5 months, 31 games, and one Big Sky Conference Tournament championship. One time, one team, one goal, one very memorable season.